Flex your business with an American Express Business Gold Card. You'll earn 4 times membership rewards points on your top 2 eligible spending categories, like transit and electronics, each month, on up to $150K in combined purchases per year. Plus, you can now earn 3 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. Terms and points cap apply. Learn more at AmericanExpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold, built for business by American Express.
The NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's $300 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in select states. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey gang, in today's episode, we're going to follow up on a conversation we had in a previous podcast episode about understanding your flaws, shooting for perfection, and kind of being okay with imperfection. And we're going to talk about this and why traders blow accounts. And I'll tell you what, in my experience of speaking with traders, traders of all different levels, traders that are really, really, really good, traders that are going from really bad to really good, and traders that are just really bad looking for shortcuts, I can tell you that the common way that you think, or the common reason that you think traders blow accounts, isn't the actual reason. And I'll tell you what it is in today's episode. Greg says confession time. Uh-oh. All right, let's get our tomatoes and our shaming sticks and our bells. Everyone grab a bell. Everyone grab a bell of shame. Here's a ripe tomato. Get ready to throw it. Greg says, I did that yesterday. I took a double top that didn't meet my rules because I was chasing a trade. Stop me out. Please don't judge me too hard. Man, you gotta, Greg, word of advice. You gotta say, please don't judge me too hard before you confess. Because by the time I read, please don't judge you too hard, guess what I was doing? I was already judging you. It's too late. I can't reverse it. I can't unsee it. I cannot unsee what I just read. George says, put him on the front line of a rugby team. Yeah, there we go. Have at it. That is your punishment. But yeah, no, it happens. I know it's. I'm glad you could admit it. And George just said the same thing. He said, "Well, the thing is that you have recognized it and make sure." And that's the thing in trading is self-awareness. Spoke about it earlier. We're human beings, right? We are going to make mistakes, right? We are all going to make mistakes. All traders make mistakes. Even your best traders in the world makes mistakes. A good book I read that doesn't get a lot of love. It's by Peter Brandt. It's called Diary of a Commodities and Forex Trader, I think. 12 or 20 weeks of trading journaling. Basically, he does what we're doing here in a live room, but in book version, where he keeps a journal, a diary of his trades for, I think, 20 weeks. I think it was supposed to be more, but something happened. He got bored maybe. But reading through that book is interesting. And I went into that book from a technical perspective, where I went into reading that book thinking like, I like Peter Brandt. He's a classic chartist. At the time I was, and I am now, but at the time I was going from like pattern trader, and I want to go back into classic charting, or so like classic patterns, head and shoulders, flags, pennants, double tops, double bottoms, basically price action stuff. And Peter Brandt was someone I looked up to, just someone I really respect in the industry for many reasons. And I said, what better way to kind of get mentored from this guy, aside from the stuff I was watching on Real Vision and stuff like that, and talking to him a little bit online. But what better way to get mentored by this guy than to read his diary? Sounds weird, but to read his journal. And cool little technical tidbits in there, of course. But the main thing I got from his journal is that he messed up. He wasn't perfect. And it was just like the book Market Wizards that opened my eyes to a lot of things. Like, none of these guys are perfect, man. Like, we're all human beings. And he would say stuff like, man, I knew I shouldn't have taken that trade, but like I felt it and I was feeling it, and like he would go off emotion sometimes, and he knew what he was doing, and in hindsight he knew he shouldn't have done it, but he would do it, and because he's human. And you can look at that as two reasons. You can look at that as being, hey, you can make an excuse and be like, oh, one of the greatest traders ever does it, so like I'll do it too. Or you can look at it from a more realistic perspective and say like, hey, we're all human beings. Like none of us are perfect. We all have flaws. You know, we don't want to, I don't need to know about all your flaws, but we all do stuff that is not the greatest. None of us are living like angels. We all have our bad habits. You know, whether it's, you sneak a sleeve of Oreos at night, whether you're a blanket hogger in the bed, whether you're someone that leaves the lights on or you got stinky feet. I don't know, whatever your thing is, we all have it. We just want to make the best out of it. We don't want those small flaws to become damaging flaws. Where you sneak a sleeve of Oreos every once in a while, it's not great if you're supposed to be on a diet, but it doesn't kill you. You start doing it every night, it's a problem. And that's what we want to avoid. We want to strive to eliminate them, right? You always want to get a little bit better to that, but like we're gonna mess up. And when we do mess up, we just have to own it and not let something bad turn into something worse. Because the thing is this, right? One mistake is one mistake going to kill you in trading, guys? Is one mistake going to blow your account? I mean, I guess technically it could if it's a really, really bad one. But in general, is one mistake going to blow your account? Like, probably not. You may miss a win or you may miss, whatever, but it's not going to blow your account. What blows your account is when you consistently make those mistakes, right? It's funny, like people blow accounts, right? And I think a lot of people think blown accounts are caused by like one big disastrous thing, where it's like, man, I took a trade and I didn't put a stop loss in, now I blew everything, right? You got to be really bad to blow your account on one trade. Like, I mean, you got to be really bad, like really bad. Like, you got to be skillfully bad, right? I tell people in the kids I work with in college this as well, where I'm like it's really hard to fail a class. Like, you have to actively try to fail a class in college to trade, to fail. Like, if you just show up, you'll probably get a D. If you just show up and do something, you'll probably get a D, right? Like, you gotta try really, really hard to fail. So the same thing in trading. You have to try really. I swear you have to actively try to blow your account on a single trade. Like, it's got to be a goal. You got to be trying to go viral or something, right? The reality is most traders blow their accounts without them knowing it. It's death by 1,000 cuts. It's stop the bleeding, or the refusal to stop the bleeding, where you're getting paper cut after paper cut after paper cut, and paper cut are like small mistakes, small losses that don't seem like much in their own right, but the bleeding never stops, and before you know it, like, you've dripped out all your blood, and this has accumulated over days and days and weeks and weeks and months, and before you know it, boom, you're out of blood and you drop dead, and you're like, well, when did this happen? And you don't really notice it because it didn't happen all at once. They're these small little cuts, but all of a sudden you're like, man, I've been sabotaging myself for months now. That's when it happens. And that's caused by the accumulation of mistakes. That's not one mistake. That's not like Greg saying, hey, I made a mistake. I messed up. I'm sorry. I'll try not to let it happen again. Like, that doesn't, it sucks, right? Bad habit. Yeah, slap on the wrist, whatever, right? It's the traders that don't own it, like George said. Traders where it's like, Greg's like, yeah, I entered a double top. I wasn't supposed to, but I did it anyway. And instead of being like, yeah, I made a mistake, he's like, I'm going to do it again tomorrow. I'm going to do it again tomorrow. And you keep doing it. That's how traders lose money. That's the truth. So work on owning it. We're not perfect. We should try to be perfect, as close to perfect as we can. Don't get me wrong. But when you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. As long as you own it, accept it for what it is, and try to learn from it. So everyone throw your tomatoes. 1, 2, 3, allez! Throw them at Greg. Go. Yeah. Sorry. Been watching Lupin, so slipped into my French mode. Such a good show, Lupin. Although it bothers me how no one ever, his disguises aren't really good. How come no one ever recognizes him? I won't ruin it, but you'll see. He's a master of disguise, but I know it's him. Like, no offense, he's a 6'3" black guy with big facial features. His disguises don't really cover that up. It's like imagine like a big NFL player walking around, like a 6'5" guy walking around. You kind of stand out. There's not a lot of 6'5" guys just walking around that don't stand out. Like, and big ones too. Like you kind of stand out like that. That's got to be an athlete. That's like Dirk Nowitzki walking around. Like he's kind of 6'10". Well, Germans are pretty tall, so maybe he doesn't stand out. But you guys get what I'm saying. Yeah, that's the thing that always bothered me with me and my wife are watching it. We're like, don't they know it's him? Like, you gotta know. Brown eyes, got the big lips, 6'3" and big. No? Okay, all right. Maybe it's me. I didn't want to sound racist when I said they all look the same. But I guess I'm allowed to say that, right? Hope you enjoyed the show. As always, if you're looking to learn how to trade, check out our website, www.tier1trading.com, where both myself and Jason Greystone teach and coach you guys how to trade, as well as a great community of traders, many that have been with us for years and years and years, and could probably be great coaches in their own right, but they decided to stick with us because they love the community. So if you're interested in learning how to trade, whether you're stuck, whether you're new, whether you just want some community, check us out, www.tier1trading.com.